episode of Federico Talks Watches. Now, today I wanted to discuss something that, obviously I've always known, but I just kind of started thinking about it the other day, and I thought it was rather interesting, and that is I want to talk about the fundamental differences in the marketing and collection strategy between the Rolex Submariner and the Omega Speedmaster. Not so much the differences in between the watches, but the differences in between the marketing. Why is one more desirable than the other? What are the two different strategies? Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing the Vintage Collection Ingenieur, one of my favorite, the favorite watch in my collection. This is the Blue Dial. And actually, guys, if you do like this watch, and these aren't too easy to find, I just got a very similar one with a black dial at delraywatch.com, my website where I sell some fantastic pre-owned watches, offer watch service, and also buy watches, link in the description below. Now, along with the IWC Vintage Collection Ingenieur, I got a couple of very rare enamel dial Walden International. Walden International is a small little one-man watchmaker that unfortunately just passed away. The company is still going strong, but Oscar Walden didn't pass away, and I actually got a couple of his pieces in stock. They're really, really fantastic, along with a very cool Omega Seamaster chronograph if you guys want to check out delraywatch.com. So, back to the main subject of this video. First, let's start off by prefacing that the Rolex Submariner and the Omega Speedmaster they are the two most sought after watches in their relative price points. Obviously, we're not going to, mention the Patek Philippe Nautilus. And they're arguably the two most iconic watches, the Submariner and the Speedmaster. However, whether you prefer one or the other, the thing that is not arguable is that the Submariner is undisputably the more iconic of the two and the more in demand of the two. Now, why is that? So I started thinking, is it quality? No, they're built, pretty much to a very similar standard. Rolex has its special features like the 904L steel, the ceramic. However, the Speedy has the famed 1861 base Lamania caliber, both built to very good quality. Is it marketing budget? Well, Rolex probably does spend a little bit more on marketing than Omega. I'm guessing here, I don't actually know, but I think that's pretty similar. And of course, the Rolex is significantly more expensive than the Omega by about double. So theoretically, the Omega should be more accessible and more people should go after it. But here's the catch. When we're talking about a luxury watch, does accessibility hurt the Omega? Is the fact that the Rolex is more of an aspirational purchase, the fact that it's more of a show-off piece. And guys, let's not kid ourselves. A lot of you watch lovers may love the Rolex Submariner, but I think each and every single one of you, including myself who owns a Submariner, likes the status symbol that it brings. So one, is the fact that the Rolex is more expensive actually makes it more desirable? And two, I was looking at the collections, and when you see the Rolex Submariner, it comes in date, no date. It comes in two-tone steel and gold, and of course in steel it comes, Hulk or black. So you have a few options. But you look at the Speedmaster, it comes in professional, sapphire sandwich, coaxial, gold, two-tone, broad arrow. The Speedmaster collection is literally double, if not triple and quadruple the size of the Rolex collection. Now, is this confusing consumers? Are there too many choices? Now, I know when I worked in retail, a sales trick we used is we never took out more than two watches at a time because it would confuse buyers sometimes. At least subconsciously, it was easier to close a sale when you had less product in front of you. So, the price of the Rolex coupled with their much more focused collection, and on top of that, their artificial scarcity, because Rolex makes over 1 million watches a year, so they're not really that scarce. But the fact that they're holding back their collection, whereas you can buy any Speedy anytime, apart from maybe a Speedy Tuesday, but that's sold out, and I also still think that's a bubble. But pretty much, you can walk into any Omega AD, buy a Speedmaster, or if they don't have it in stock, get one relatively quickly. Whereas doing that, even with the standard no-date Submariner, which is the least in demand, is pretty hard nowadays. And I think that's Rolex holding back production, which is two very distinct ways of approaching this. You know, Omega, less expensive, more accessible, very high quality. Rolex, more expensive, much harder to get. Certainly less accessible than the Omega. And those two things. All that I can think of is, and I'm not a marketing expert, is the fact that the Rolex is harder to get makes people want it more. The fact that getting a Rolex is almost a hard thing nowadays makes people yearn for it. And the fact that there aren't that many different versions of it and that it's pretty recognizable. I mean, the Speedy is very recognizable as well, but there's so many flavors. I don't know. It's like Rolex boiled down all the things that make people want to watch and concentrated it into the Submariner, whereas the Omega, the Speedmaster is genuinely a great watch. That's why everybody wants it. But they're doing the complete opposite of Rolex, which, Rolex, that seems to be really working for them. I don't know. I'm confused. I wanted to ask you guys the question. What do you think of the two strategies? Is accessibility or lack thereof really helping the Rolex? Do you see it as more of an aspirational purchase? Why, even though they're both iconic, I can tell you the Rolex is significantly more in demand than the Speedmaster, but the Speedmaster is more complicated and less expensive. I think it boils down 100% to image and to what Rolex has built over the years. I'd love to get your thoughts, guys. Please leave them in the comment section below. And of course, please don't forget to thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it. It really does help. I will be revealing my new watch purchase soon. If you guys want to see that, thumb it up. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. Not to mention, to once again, please go check out Del Rey Watch Supply, link in the description below. Guys, thank you so much for sticking with me for another episode of Federico Talks Watches. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.